Hello everyone, this is Jeremy and welcome to episode 21 of Multiblock Madness. I've updated the pack once again. We are on version 1.1.4, and one of the big changes I noticed is that the assembly machine quests now rewards you with 2 overclockers. Having 2 overclockers when you start Tech Reborn is pretty huge. You can just move them between your machines as needed. They'll probably spend most of the time in the assembly machine, but we're past that point already. But for the future, that's good to have. So anyways, last episode we made our iridescent altar. Today I would like to start by getting to the Elven portal. So first we need a tier 5 blood altar. Why does it call for exclusively blank runes? That's a little bit annoying. Wow, beacons are expensive. I mean, I guess it's not expensive, it's just complicated. And there's a couple things that require beacons. Alright, well, whatever. Now that we have our altar, we can make this. I don't actually have nether stars yet. But I have tons of wither skeleton skulls, right? Well, I never hooked up our mob farm to the storage system. But I mean, I have 19,000 wither skeleton skulls. Let's set up do we need an auto wither killer? I mean, there is the wither data model, right? If I really need withers, we can get, 3 nether stars per pristine matter. Let's not bother with an auto wither killer. Let's just manually kill a few. I need 4 nether stars, so let's fight all 4 withers at a time. That's what any sane person will do. With the gear I have, I imagine this will be a walk in the park. In fact, I can melee it from all the way back here. 1 down. The hardest part is target looks quite good. Wow, I like one-shot them. Where's the last one? There you are. Easy. Now let's hope I didn't blow up the nether stars. 3. Made a nice hole in the ground. Where is number 4? Found it. Alright, so I guess eventually we even get wither seeds if we need even more automated withers. So with these, we can make ourselves the 4 beacons. They're needed to upgrade the blood altar to the next tier. Never tried crafting more than 1 item at a time on the iridescent altar when it needs side items. I suspect it'll only craft 1 at a time. I could simplify this for myself a little bit by reducing the number of spectral relays to 4, because when there's 4 relays and 4 of the same item, I can rather accurately predict which spectral relays will ask for the items, you know? And yeah, that looks like it just crafted 1 item at a time. Not terribly surprising. So, then, nope, too much time in the bottle. As before, these single cobblestone pieces have to be replaced with beacons. Unfortunately, I can't exchange and gadget a beacon, so we have to go through like 7 different steps to replace it. Oh well. And then all the cobblestone on the side have to be replaced with some type of functional rune. I think I'm going to craft the 52 blank runes because the quest asks for it, and then we're going to put some other rune there because we're at a point where it's good to have functional runes, you know, have it do something for you. Probably a mix of speed, capacity, and sacrifice. I'm not exactly sure what the breakdown will be. Thus far, the way I've been using my blood altar is almost exclusively for sporadic crafting. So it's spending 90% of its time doing literally nothing. And as a result, I think I'm going to stock up on a lot of augmented capacity runes to give it a massive internal buffer so that when I do need to craft, I can just time to bottle it like it's going out of fashion. So I'm going to do a mix of speed but mostly augmented capacity. I've upgraded all of our basic capacity runes to augmented capacity as well. So once I do this, our capacity should go up tremendously from 38 buckets to 450 some buckets. I was kind of expecting more, but it's okay. We'll get the tier 6 altar soon, and when that happens, the capacity goes up even higher. Cool. So now if I just hit this with a time in the bottle once, that'll fill that right up. Now if I need more blood, instead of adding more sacrifice runes, I could actually just add more mob agonizers. Apparently this pack has a config set that we could have multiple agonizers per altar, which means that instead I could add 38 sacrifice runes or 1 mob agonizer, right? And considering that runes are a somewhat limited resource, whereas more mob agonizers is not. If I need more blood, it's easier to do that. Anyways, now that we have our tier 5 blood altar, we're ready to craft the next tier slate. So let's just take this off the filter and then get it crafted. So the next tier slate unlocks a couple things, but perhaps most excitingly, it gives us access to the Elven Gateway portal from Britannia. Give it a little more thought, and I think I want more augmented capacity runes. So right now we have 452 buckets of capacity. If I swap 13 of these out, I should go to like 3 million, maybe 2 to 3 million. 1.5 million millibuckets. That's a bit more like it. I need enough of a buffer that I can just come up here, you know, time to bottle it and leave. And because if there's not enough of a buffer, if I time and bottle this, it just drains all the blood and stops crafting, right? So I think that's a better compromise. Anyways, I am crafting more mob agonizers at the moment, and let's take a look at what exactly the Elven portal requires. This is an infusion recipe. It's not that bad. Maybe let's automate our infusions real quick. That'll be fun. First, I need to level some new data models for my new mob agonizers. Thankfully, that's quite easy. Now that I have the lightning perk off too, every kill actually counts as opposed to before when the lightning trait from Astro was taking most of my kills, and apparently those don't count. So yeah, this gets leveled up in like just a couple of minutes. Have you ever played the really old school, it's called like Castle Defender or something, where you have to like click and, it was an old Flash game where you had to click and throw all the little guys as they ran at you so that they didn't get to your castle gates? This kind of feels like that, where I'm clicking all the zombies as they run at me. All leveled, so this should give us oh wait, no linked altar. I thought I had literally linked these altars. Hold on. That should give us 3 times or 4 times as much blood progression, blood generation. Linked altar to target. Oh, I see. So we select agonizer to altar. I linked my stuff the other way around. There we go. All linked up. So each one of these is as effective as the first because they all have self-aware data models. Back to Natura pylons and the infusion. So the recipe looks like this. I went through almost all the infusion recipes, and I think they all fit in a standard applied energistics recipe that is 9 input slots. There might be some edge cases that don't. If that case exists, we'll deal with it later. Anyways, import the recipe. Make sure the center item is the first item and save it. That's all you got to do. So we take that, drop that recipe into an interface here that needs to be on blocking mode, connected to an item interface, an actual additions item interface. This is the same setup I used in Nuclear Earth for our infusion altar, so those that have watched that series will find it looks awfully similar. The item interface here acts as a proxy for all connected inventories. So kind of like the way a drawer controller works for drawers, well, an item interface works for literally all connectable inventories. We then want to make sure that our pedestal in the center has the highest priority, so it's priority 1. That's why the center item has to be first in the recipe. Applied Energistics tries to give you your items in order if you're willing to accept them in order. So item 1 goes in there, and then item 2, or the rest of the items in whatever order, gets placed on the sides. To maintain symmetry as best we can, we once again use priorities on these lasers. So -1 there, -2, -3, -4, now where do I go? 5 is somewhere. 5, 6, 7, 8. You get the point. And that goes all the way around. So now when we request the item, or when we request a Natura pylon, all the items should get placed onto the altar. That's great. However, that's only part of the problem. Next, we have to extract the product when we're done. When we do that, we only want to extract off the center pedestal, right? So let's set up a system to do that. The pedestals act as single item inventories that are both insertable and extractable at all times during the craft. So we obviously don't want to extract the product until we're done with the craft. For that, what I'm going to do is, well, there's two. This kind of breaks into 2 main cases. There's items like the Natura pylon here, where the final product is never reused in crafting, right? It'll never be the input center item for a crafting task. In that case, it's trivial. We just add it to a filter here. I don't have big filters, so we're just gonna have to use multiple basic filters for now. But all we have to do is extract it into the ME interface. For some other items that get more complicated, let me find us an example here. Basically, if the product of the infusion, here's one. Yeah, so the hoe of growth, right, is made in the infusion, but it's also used as a center item for a future infusion. That means if we just whitelist it, when we go to craft the void hoe of growth, the hoe of growth will get it extracted from the center because it's on our whitelist. So we're going to have to do something slightly more complicated for that. Also, we're going to have to do something slightly more complicated to handle primordial pearls. However, we're going to hold off on that until we actually need it. Last thing to do is to auto start the infusion. So to start the infusion, you have to right click Caster's Gauntlet on it. Good news is if there's no recipe, or if there's an invalid recipe, it's harmless to click it. Also, if the crafting is already ongoing, it's harmless to click it. So we can just get a mechanical user and have it constantly clicking the runic matrix. The problem with that is that the user needs to have knowledge of the craft in order to do so. So we have to somehow teach the fake mechanical user how to get Thumbcraft knowledge. In the past, I think I've already tried giving our automated user the cheater's Thaumonomicon, and I'm not convinced it did anything with it. So let's try giving it our Tome of Knowledge Sharing instead. Right click to link it to us so it has our knowledge in it, and now the user should have the knowledge. I'm going to assume that that's sufficient to give it knowledge, although I guess we'll find out. Place it, is that backwards? Yeah. The one part of infusion that this system here will not gracefully handle is ensuring that we have the proper aspect inputs. So that we kind of have to check manually. I need to make 2 Natura pylons, so I need 400, 200, 100, 100 of Herba, Magic, Aliens, and Time. So plants, Magic, Aliens, and Time. Good. So let's give it a shot. I haven't tested it out, so I don't actually know if the automated user here truly learned my magical secrets, but let's find out. Worst case, I do have to start the recipes myself, or perhaps we can try the integrated dynamics mechanical user. But here we go. Start up. The items should get placed, and the fact that it's not starting is concerning. Oh wait, did I give you? No, I did give you a Caster's Gauntlet. Require redstone, but you have redstone, right? Oh no, does this not emit a redstone signal when there's an item on it? Oh, let's use a different item detector. There's the RF tools one, I believe. Inventory checker. So this should just, let's see. Slot 0, amount 1. Ignore. Output is off. You know what? Screw it. We'll just have this on all the time. There we go. I had it set to only run when there's an item in the center for... I presume there's a performance benefit to it. Maybe I'll look into figuring that out later. But yeah, the fact that the infusion auto-started is good. I could put some infusion stones underneath the pedestals to speed it up, but I have a better way of speeding it up for now. And the infusion finishes, and the next one starts up immediately. So because there's blocking mode set on this, it won't push items until the previous craft is, cleaned up and all, but as soon as it's cleaned up, it'll do it. And then we should see that we have 2 Natura pylons. Nice. So if I get a gateway core, which is just another infusion, we should be ready to open the elf portal. The Elven gateway is effectively a 3x3 nether portal with corners, I believe, where you put some of these fancy glimmering blocks around. So I think this is how you do it. It's yeah, I'm 90% sure this is right. All right. And then when you are done, you need to put 2 mana pools anywhere in the vicinity of it. I could reuse these existing mana pools, but I'm just going to make a couple new ones. On top of those mana pools, you have to put the pylons, but before that, I want to drop some sparks on them. to keep them filled with mana. So, a couple sparks. It's pretty hard to click sparks on them afterward. Why I'm doing it first. Put dominant augments on them so they fill up, and then put the pylons on them. So when the portal is in use, it draws mana out of these mana pools, or rather, when you when you open the portal and when you trade with the portal, it draws mana. When it's just passively existing, it does not. So if I can find my Wand of the Forest, right-click the gateway core, bam, portal is open. The first thing I usually slow through it is the Lexica Botania, just to get the upgraded version of the Lexica Botania. It has the Elven related information in it. How do I do this? We clear this and then add that to our Akashic Tome. So now we have both the basic and the upgraded Lexica Botania in here. Cool. But with that, we have access to Entropiniums. Nice. Let's yeah. Well, actually, let's make let's do some of the Elven trading first, and then we'll make some TNT mana. So the trading here mostly gives us access to the Elven materials. What I really want to do is trade for some Elementium, Pixie Dust, and Dragonstone. Those are the big three materials. With that, we can get easier access to mana pools. So right now I'm making mana pools by literally multi-block crafting them. Like, even though I have the 3D printer, there is no 3D printer mana pool recipe. We can, however, now get access to the fabulous mana pools, which use less living rockets, you know, Bifrost blocks, which are free effectively, and living rock to make. So to make this, though, we have to get the Rod of the Bifrost, which is all the Elven materials. To simplify trading, I put a vacuum test here, filtered for the various outputs, and then we just have to throw the inputs through the portal. Make sure you only throw in things you actually want to trade, because if you give it stuff that doesn't have a trade recipe, well, the elves just keep it. So, like, in theory, we could use it as a trash can, you know, have some moss stone. Anyways, then whatever comes out of there, I'm dumping into the enemy system. Before we get to generating mana with TNT, I want to fight the Gaia Guardian at least a few times to get the Gaia mana spreaders. So I'm hoping that the Gaia spreader will be... Well, the TNT mana generates mana as fast as you can extract from it effectively. So by using the Gaia spreader, I'm hoping to be able to generate mana faster. Anyways, what doesn't it like? My beacons are off? No, those all look right. What's it telling me? Perhaps your configuration of catalyst pylons is wrong. These are the wrong pylons. Let's try that again, this time with the right pylons, Gaia pylons. So I'm kind of hoping that with a very high level multi-shot power bow, I can one-shot the Gaia Guardian. This bow actually shoots the correct number of multi-shots as described, whereas by Dragon Bow here, it says it's like multi-shot 1 billion, but it only shoots 2 arrows for some reason. I guess, I don't know, maybe just some quirk of the dragon-ness of the bow. But this bow does exactly as it's described. It does consume arrows, but I got tons of arrows. So, let's see if we can one-shot it and skip the intermission. If not, he's probably like, this is gonna break my gear. Whoa, where's his skin? Why does he have my skin? That's me. Yeah, alright, that worked exactly as expected. I figured between the high level of multi-shot and... Whoopsies. That's not what I wanted to do. Had me out to give me information about a grass block. Between that and the fact that I have this perk, Blunt Bolts, the closer you are, the more damage you deal. This gets through the damage gating that the Gaia Guardian has. So anyways, that's Gaia Guardian 1. That was a real tough fight, right? Let's see if we can do the same for Gaia Guardian 2. Kind of curious. Do I get a free one? Nice, I think I do. Buy one, get one free? Indeed, buy one, get one free. Good deal. I can't fight 2 at a time, unfortunately. Does he teleport immediately? He does. All right, but yeah, we also one-shot him, so that goes through the intermission. There's no intermission, he's just dead. That's great. Excuse me. So I'm gonna farm up a couple of these Gaia spirits and Dice of Fate, I guess. Hello. Goodbye. So those fights gave us some runes. Those are nice. I guess Mana Seal, it's kind of nice. I'm curious what this relic shader grab bag is. I've never seen. I mean, the shaders from immersive engineering don't really do anything anyways, but I guess it's just there's more shaders than there were before. All right. They used to drop a bunch of these epic shaders. I don't know. I don't really use them. Anyways, open these. They give things. Ring of Odin. I think that's the one I want. Do I? Yeah. It's basically a strict upgrade to the lava charm. It first of all gives you 10 hearts right off the bat, so that gets us to, I guess, are those 10 hearts multiplied? Those, oh no, it's 10 hearts. I don't know. We got a lot more hearts than we did before. I think those 10 hearts might get multiplied by our Britannia or by our Astral Sorcery traits as well to give us even more hearts. So we're up to whatever color light blue is, apparently. It also gives complete immunity to suffocation, drowning, lava. See ya. I love my repellent. Anything that hits me just disappears. Immunity to lava, burning. Basically, it makes you unkillable. Not that I wasn't already unkillable. Anyways, I got what I'm after. These Gaia spirits let us make. I'm just gonna fight a few more Gaia Guardians. The Gaia spirits let us make the Gaia mana spreaders. All done with those 9 fights. So let's open our dice. I don't think I really care about any of these. There used to be a feature where you could craft these 3 rings together and they become like a super ring. That no longer exists, so as a result, they're not very useful. I guess we can eat this instead of eating our food, but we have food. And I think I may have gotten everything already. So once you get one of everything, that's all there is. I guess, yeah, it's a 6-sided dice, right? So I have 6 different items. Excellent. Now let's get to mana-ing. So I need to make some number of, what chapter are we in here? Yeah, some number of entropiniums. How is this recipe? It's a petal apothecary one with runes and is otherwise very simple. All right, let's start with 4. Might add more later. I was in the process of setting up for our entropinium farm here. I made the flowers, I set up a mana battery, and I realized all the sparks that I had are gone again. This is the second time it's happened today. The first time it was right after I logged in after the update. So I kind of just wrote it off as, you know, maybe the update ate my sparks. I don't know. Which I found weird. But you saw me place sparks on these mana pools earlier, and they're gone now. And like all the sparks that were on these mana pools are also gone again. Which is kind of strange. I'm curious what's causing them to all disappear. At one point, I did find a spark unexpectedly in my inventory, so I think they're not despawning, but rather they're popping off, and I don't know why they're falling off. But anyways, as I mentioned before, the reason I put the sparks on before I put the pylons on before is because there's basically no way to actually put the pylon on after you've placed the, or there's no way to place the augment on the spark after you place the pylon. But apparently the portal doesn't mind being pylonless for a few seconds. All right, anyways, the idea of this farm here is that we are going to have one central mana pool. So let's, is that centered? That's a center. Is this, does that have a center? Is that not 7x7? Hold on, which one of these is the center? There we go, I fixed it. I had a whole extra layer of obsidian here. Thank goodness for Vein Miner. Anyways, this mana pool here, which is the center, will act as the main mana pool we generate mana into, and the mana pool we can measure to determine whether or not we have to shut this farm off. Then we put a recessive spark on there, so it will send all of its mana to the mana battery, and then the dominant sparks here will draw mana out of the battery to themselves. We have to surround this mana pool with 4 spreaders, and I should put lenses on these spreaders as well. Just straight potency is enough because they're right next to their mana spreader, which means velocity does not help. Let's get some lens of, what are they called? Potency mana lens of potency. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so this is the fastest you can move mana with mana spreaders. The highest tier spreader, the best lens for it. Each spreader will have 1 entrepreneur bound to it. These, I believe, by default, when you place them, bind to their nearest flower. Is that true? Or their nearest spreader? Is that true? Appears to be good. So entrepreneurs absorb any TNT explosion in their radius, as shown when you hover them. Is that the radius? Hold on. I have the mana serum monocle on. I think it extends vertically as well. It just doesn't show it. So my idea is that we will drop lit TNT into here, and then when it goes off, let's light this one off just as a demonstration. When it goes off, the explosion will get absorbed by one of these entrepreneurs. It will convert it into mana, shoot it into the mana pool, which will then transfer it away. So I need to put a single spark onto every mana pool in the battery here real quick. Next up, how do we do the TNT? So we have a couple options for that. We could just craft it. It's not very difficult. Sand is trivial to make, and gravel and whatchamacallit, gunpowder is easy to make with mechanism, because there's the mechanism recipe that allows us to make gunpowder out of flint. However, I've already done this in another pack. I think it was in Levitated, where we did our TNT factory to feed it. So let's do it slightly differently now and use one of my favorite contraptions, the TNT duping machine. This here is just a simple vanilla TNT duping machine. Just about every version of Minecraft has had one, so I'm willing to call it a feature, even though it's technically a bug. Right now, this piece of TNT is being powered by there's a detector rail there that's powering it, so it should be set off, except detector rails, when they get powered, don't cause block updates, which means that this TNT will not go off until it receives the block update. However, if you trick it to receive the block update in the same tick that you push it, so like that, you cause it to drop and still exist. That's the gist of it. There's different means of achieving this in different versions of Minecraft. But anyways, do this a whole bunch, and you produce a lot of TNT. The TNT falls and gets turned into mana. Any TNT that doesn't get turned into mana because all of our entrepreneurs are busy, that's okay. They just harmlessly explode in their obsidian cage. So let's replace this here, our manual setup, with a timer. I think there's a very good clock in this pack. This redstone clock is just about perfect for the job. I have it set to have a 5-tick on, 5-tick off cycle. If you want the TNT to fall straight down, you need to give it enough time such that the returning TNT doesn't bump it. But with our cage here, it's okay for it to not fall straight down. Anyways, you see that all the mana now gets absorbed. The fact that I think the explosions are going off slightly faster than we can absorb it right now, which is why you get to hear them. But each time the entrepreneur absorbs the thing, it fills up its mana bar, and then it sends that into the mana spreader, which sends that into the mana pools, which starts filling these up. So one reasonably easy way to test how fast this is, let's turn you off for a second. I'm gonna, actually first, let's add a sound muffler here. It's probably best so that I'm not trying to shout over my TNT explosions for you to hear me. And muted. Quick thing we can actually do is just come in here. If we don't take damage, actually, that means that 100% of the explosions are being absorbed. So that means we can actually speed this up a little bit if I want to. In fact, I do want to. Make it 4 ticks on each side. And we might still be absorbing all the explosions. Wow. 3 ticks on each side. At some point, you speed it up too much and it breaks. I think this might be... In fact, this might already be too fast. The piston, I think, is only reacting to every other pulse. Is it? Yeah, I think it's faster at this setting. So actually, I guess this is the fastest a single TNT duper can produce TNT. And yet, we can turn all of that into mana. So, an easy way to test how quickly we're producing mana... Turn this off real quick. Let all the remaining explosions go off. and we want to let this mana pool empty out. It basically is. Rip the spark off, and then turn it back on, and we'll see how long it takes for it to fill up one mana pool with mana. So this mana, it's a fabulous mana pool, but effectively it is a fabulous mana pool holds as much mana as a regular mana pool. So I didn't start a timer, but as you can see in the, 10 seconds I was talking, like it's already almost a quarter full. So yeah, this could fill a mana pool. You know what? I'm gonna time how long it takes to go from 1/2 to 3/4. Let me pull up a timer. And by my count, it's about 16 seconds to do a quarter of a mana pool. So just over a minute to do a full pool. Now, one thing to be careful about, when this pool fills up here, then our entropiniums will start filling up. And then when the entropiniums start filling up, they stop absorbing explosions. And then the explosions start hurting. So we have to make sure that when the entropiniums fill up, I mean, they don't actually hurt because we're like literally immune to damage. But when the mana pool fills up, we have to make sure to send a redstone signal up to this thing to turn it off. That's why I left a block above the mana pool where we can set up some way to read it. So probably going to have to use the integrated dynamics redstone reader. We can read the redstone signal, and if it is 15, shut it off. I just have to read the comparator value, and then probably I think I want to set the threshold to 14 because there's a little bit of inertia in the system, right? There's all the leftover TNT. So I want to say if the redstone, or if the comparator value is less than or equal, no, just strictly less than. If it is strictly less than, well, first I need a constant, just a value, hold on. Just a integer value of 14. Now I need to do a comparator, so a less than. If the comparator value is less than 14, that is a Boolean, true or false. If it is true, we want to output redstone to the redstone clock here, which causes it to turn. I suppose at this point I may as well have used the integrated dynamics redstone writer as the clock. Too late now. What's done is done. So next we have to drop these variable cards into a variable store somewhere on the network, on the integrated dynamics network, so that they can be read from. There we go. And then this should start turning on. Yep. So it runs, and it'll continue to run until this mana pool, which I put the spark back on. Is it like possible to rip the spark off still? Or rip the augment off the spark? Did I get it? No. Maybe I should have tried reading its value from the bottom. Okay, so I definitely, I pulled the entire spark off there. Alright, whatever, that works. Where did my augment go? There it is. I just want to test it real quick. Let me fly. To see that this is going to be awful on the poor encoder here. To see that the thing shuts itself off as this mana pool reaches the 14 over 15% full threshold. So right now it's reading 9. And you know what? I'm not even going to put a cut here. We're gonna admire how fast this mana pool fills. This is absolutely crazy fast. We can probably, I think we can spend mana faster than this. Like if we were constantly crafting Terra Steel, we could probably spend mana faster than this. But honestly, not by much. So, oh, perfect. Wow, the timing's perfect. The mana pool is like 100% full. But I don't think a single explosion went unused. Right? Like we have one entropinium worth of extra explosion left to absorb. Perfect. All right, then let's put our stuff back on. When I put this augment back on the spark, the mana pool empties out again into our mana battery, which causes the explosion to start up again. Oh, it's beautiful. I love explosions. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Well, anyways, I think that's a fine wrapping up point for today. We'll be back next time, and we only managed to accomplish like 3 quests today, huh? But we'll be back next time and do other chapters 6 stuff, work our way towards the hotter blast furnace, yada yada yada. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.